Hi, welcome to Double Strike Recap. Today I'm gonna review a 2022 war movie, Sniper: The White Raven. Spoilers ahead. The film's start showed a hut for a married couple named Raven and Lisa. It is known that they choose to live side by side with nature because of the background of the Russian and Ukrainian war conflicts. A little explanation: if Raven and Lisa are native Ukrainians. Raven works as a math and physics teacher at a school, while Lisa is an artist, whose hobby is painting animals in the wild. Television shows the incident in Kiev city of Ukraine, where as many as 100 demonstrators were shot dead by Russian troops. Short story: Raven started his class today with some of the students. He is teaching continuously. Raven is a very genius scholar with basic abilities of physics, chemist and mathematics. After teaching, a local television reporter visited them. The reporter was very surprised at the path they had taken, where apparently the two married couples were very educated people. Raven and Lisa looked very happy, enjoying the atmosphere of life, away from the bustle of the city. Lisa then gave an amulet that she had carved earlier to Raven to protect Raven. In the next scene, Russian military vehicle was approaching the Ukrainian, and it seemed they were assigned to comb the border locations, which were often used by enemy soldiers hiding. When he was on the way, Raven was a little surprised after seeing two Russian soldiers, who were unusual in this area. The soldiers looked cynical, but Raven continued to pedal his bicycle in his own house. Didn't feel suspicious. Raven has arrived at school again, to witness the news where the Russian soldiers had moved and arrived in the Crimea area where they lived. At this time Raven immediately pedaled hard his bicycle because he was very worried of his wife. When he got home, it was true that the two soldiers he met earlier had taken Lisa hostage because they suspected that they were spies. Raven had explained to the two soldiers that they were only Ukrainian civilians who choose to live in the forest, but still the two soldiers continuously hitting Lisa and also Raven. One of the soldiers trying to prove the truth that was said by Raven, he entered the house and saw several awards that proved that Raven was a scientist. But the soldiers actually burned Raven's house and then just left. Lisa, who did not accept the treatment of the two soldiers, immediately took a rock and intended to throw it, but what happened then? Lisa was shot. The next morning, they were found by two people, who claimed as Ukrainian People's Fighter. Raven buried his wife's body under the rubble of his house, which had turned to ashes, and he himself was taken by the two soldiers. Arriving at the Ukrainian headquarters, the two soldiers who brought Raven were scolded by their commanders because they did not believe that Raven was really Ukrainian citizens. Don't know what Raven thought. He actually took an AK-47 weapon belonging to the Ukrainians' army, which made the Ukrainian army immediately panic. Raven, who only has numeracy skills, is often underestimated by his coaches. Moreover, Raven rarely even has anything to do with firearms. At one time, Raven and his friends were gathered by the coach in a room. There, the coach said that if the Ukrainian army lacks sniper soldiers and volunteers, will provide sniper training for whoever is elected. Raven, who wanted revenge for his wife's death, then volunteered. Raven were immediately looked down to those who ran for office, because he could not reassemble the AK-47 weapon. Hearing this, Raven then challenged his trainer. If he is now proficient at knitting weapons, he will even do it in less than 20 minutes with his eyes closed. The next scene, soldiers that are accepted as transferred to a special sniper training site. The first thing they receive in the game is sniper training by a senior Ukrainian sniper soldier. The film then continues when Raven and his friends are distributed SFB-type sniper weapons, but when it's Raven's turn, the coach is just giving him an old-school weapons that are not the same as theirs. Raven gets injustice and bullied because of his background as a teacher. The candidates get their first training. The trainer says a sniper must stay calm and not be able to move even in the middle of a battle. Therefore a sniper must not be surprised or nervous when listening to the sound of an explosion even at a very close distance. A sniper must stay in his aim and must not change the slightest direction in the focus point. Raven had to fail again and again and his shot drastically off the aiming board. But he continued learning and practice. The next training is to calculate the shooting range with the position of the enemy being targeted there. Raven is a master of 3 fields of science and a physics teacher is very easy to answer these questions, and the trainer is very impressed with the answers that really match with the book determines. The next exercise is to shoot at night. This is the last training session, where later it will determine which sniper will be assigned. In that session Raven was declared a failure because his shot missed. But, Raven then replied if he had not shot already. And he later proved to the coach that he was able to shoot targets even without the light. The next day Raven and his friends were gathered and Raven goes into the main Ukrainian sniper units or troops. Raven and the attackers then were deployed because their weapons and artillery were limited. Their task was to seize the Russian troops' camp on the border, which would later be passed by the ballistics and weapons delivery cars for Ukraine. Suddenly, civilians' cars passed the street and were stopped by the Russian troopers and their luggage was plundered. This is the first moment of Raven's success as a sniper soldier, but it is shown by a Russian sniper who was stalking the enemy. Two Ukrainian snipers are seen trying to cross a border, but a Russian sniper who has been on guard for a long time in the area knows the enemy's movements also recorded the action before in the end he fired a shot that was so powerful. The death of one of his colleagues made the Ukrainian sniper troops including Raven very shocked. The looks in his eyes were so passionate because apparently the sniper was Kim, his best friend when at the training camp. This task is getting more difficult where the weapons carried are heavy weapons that even an armored vehicle can be easily penetrated. In the next scene, the Ukrainian soldiers decides to move in the evening. They began to divide tasks, including installing a bomb in several parts that were often passed by the Russian army. After a long wait, Raven and Captain Gregory finally found several Russian soldiers who were patrolling. Raven as a sniper then set off the bomb, where when the Russian army entered the bomb trap, it was detonated. Success after the success of the mission was completed by Raven, an accomplished sniper who was previously underestimated by many people. A Russian sniper who had killed Kim earlier was assigned to secure the war zone area that their convoy would pass. Back to Raven and Captain Gregory, where they first arrived at the war zone where the Russian troop convoy would pass. However, Raven, who at that time acted as an officer, saw the two killers of his wife who was there. Raven was very emotional and wanted to kill them, but Captain Gregory reminded them that their task was not to kill the two people, which resulted in their position being known. Captain Gregory had to be shot by a Russian sniper. Raven, who was alone now, has to desperately take Captain Gregory in the middle of the mortar attacks that kept raining on him. The colonel then told that they would avenge the death of the captain on the next mission. Raven was very sorry because he realized that the death of his trainer was due to his actions. If only he had obeyed orders and had not provoked by his emotions, maybe Captain Gregory would not have died in this mission. The next day, Raven returned to get a mission to seize a garbage dump allegedly as a place for Russia to hide nuclear weapons. Raven, who has no scouts anymore, bravely completes the mission even though he has to face two Russian snipers. Next, Raven have a call from the commander that ordered a new mission where Raven was assigned to look for enemy snipers in the former oil area. It was reported that he had shot two Ukrainian observers after arriving at the Ukrainian headquarters. He is Sari. Sari is a very deadly sniper from Russia. His actions using a large caliber bullet with a shot accuracy of 1.5 km. Even in action he has killed 5 snipers including Captain Gregory. Their task is to seize the former oil refinery that Russia uses as an arsenal of weapons. The Russian snipers including Sari is there. After the instructions are completed the mission is then carried out. Raven is assigned to enter the refinery while the sniper team is tasked with backing up attacks. After a long creep Raven arrived at the location of the Russian defense. He settles like a deadly ghost, no one can see him. Now it's the turn of the sniper troops where they have aimed at each target's head with a signal and machine gun fire. Ukrainian sniper troops also fired their shots without being noticed by the Russian sniper who was inside the building. Raven shot the killer of his wife and moves back into the building. His task is to finish off the Russian sniper, Sari, who was on guard there. With his ingenuity, Raven manages to finish off Sari and blow up another sniper. Russian troops suddenly came to the area and then a shootout ensued and the battle was won by Ukrainian troops. Raven then asked permission to leave for a while where apparently the oil refinery was not far from where he lived previously. Raven then remembered his late wife and even he could still see the stone structures that his wife had previously made. At the end of the story, Raven was back again getting heavy tasks, seen now in snow camouflage mode. This proves that Raven until that moment was still undefeated and he continued to be assigned to finish off Russian snipers who could endanger Ukrainian troops. Hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to subscribe to get more video like this, turn on the notification and leave a like to help the channel out. Thank you for watching.